So, readers, one thing that I was thinking about when I was thinking about our question, like what will happen to the relationship between Amelia and her father when they're working on the card together, I actually think that this might grow their relationship and like give them something in common. Um, so remember, like her dad has been away, fighting in the army overseas. For about a year, right? And I think that's something he doesn't like really want to talk about because it's probably not memories that like bring him a lot of joy. And so right now he's working on the car, um, which he might be doing because that's something like kind of familiar to him. And maybe he needs a way to like go back to normal life. And so I think maybe Amelia helping him like transition from the army to normal life might help build their relationship. So let's go ahead and keep reading. I felt a sudden rush of excitement. My dad wants me to help him. Gus's dad was right. I did think of something. You up for it? Yes, I say quietly, but inside I might as well be 140 amps of electricity hitting metal. Cool, he says, handing me his gloves. Take these. I'll go get another pair. Poppy hands me a dead blow hammer, which is safer than a regular hammer, and shows me how to strike the metal to bend it the way we want. He puts his arms around my shoulder. You remember that tire we patched a few years ago? Of course I remember, every detail, actually. I follow my dad to the shed to get more supplies. He hands me some tools to carry back to the workbench. It's like we're flying a plane and I'm his co-pilot. So, Poppy, how was your last deployment, I ask. The question feels strange, but the time feels right, especially because I really want to know. Fine, is all he says. He doesn't even look up from what he's doing. Were you in the mountains? We move back to the car and I hand him a black Sharpie so we can mark it up. We're going to do a few butt welds here to fit the 20 gauge into the door frame. But first we have to get rid of the splotchy paint around the car. Some fool tried to paint it white. See this here? He shows me a few spots on the Hornet. He says he's been sanding the car down to bring it back to its original green. It still has some remnants of the original color, but we have to sand it down now and then we'll repaint. Sound good? Okay, I say, trying to keep up. He takes out 2 sets of goggles and 2 sets of masks that go over your mouth and nose. He fastens the mask on himself to show me how. When I put mine on, I can feel my own breath bouncing back at me. We lower our goggles and get close to the car. Poppy shows me how to rub the paint up the hood and using an electric sander. The sound reminds me of the propeller from the radio-controlled airplane he got me for Christmas one year. We flew it from the hill in the backyard, and it ended up soaring across the lawn straight over the auto shop and into a beech tree. The hum of the airplane sounded like a bumblebee. Bumblebees aren't dangerous. They just float and buzz around, eating nectar and pollinating stuff. They don't even sting unless you mess with them. That's what the sander sounds like, a giant bumblebee. When your eyes are focused on sanding the metal, my dad says in a muffled voice through his mask, it becomes the only thing you see or hear other than your teammate next to you. For example, I know you're here, but I can't tell you what Orestes is doing in the stall out front. I think about what Gus's dad told me and just listen. And if I turn around to look at what he's doing, or if I call Abuela to see where she's at, then I could lose focus on this job. You see? Yeah, I say at full volume. Then mistakes can happen, he says. He turns toward the street and pushes the sander against the door. The screech blasts my ear and makes me jump back. You see? He says, taking the sander off the hood. He puts it on the workbench, pulls down his mask, and slides the goggles on top of his head. You turn away from what you need to do, and you can hurt your teammate. I lift my goggles, too, and pull down my mask. Poppy brushes off some of the leftover paint chips with his gloves. There's a slight burnt smell in the air. You all right? Poppy asks, picking up the sander again. Yeah. We're both quiet for a moment as the sander rests peacefully on the workbench. We had tower guard at some point during the night, he says out of the blue. I'd sit there in the dark 4 hours some nights trying to communicate with the local military that shared the tower with us. Oh, I say, he's talking about his deployment. I try my best to act casual and not interrupt him, so we'll keep talking. Got pretty close with some of those fellas. Had green tea and flatbread most nights. I always wanted the last shift, the one right before breakfast. I'd be up at that tower at 3 a.m, just looking out into the expanse. Why did you like that time of day, Poppy? I wanted to be awake at the quietest, darkest moment. Dad stops. It seems like that's all he's going to say. So I woke up the courage to ask him another question. My heart beats fast as I open my mouth. Was it cold? Yeah, it got pretty cold up there. Hey, let's move to the quarter panel and inspect. And just like that, I know it's over. Okay, I say. About an hour of working mostly in silence, we decide to take a break. A milkshake sounds pretty awesome right now, Poppy says. Want to walk over to Jimmy's Diner and grab some mint chocolate chip with double fudge and sprinkles?